What's going on, everyone? Coach Aaron here, back again with another video. Today we're going to go over the advantages and disadvantages of online coaching versus in-person coaching to figure out what's right for you. So let's get started. Alrighty everyone, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to talk about online coaching versus in-person coaching. There are some advantages to each one and some disadvantages to each one. So we're going to break it down into each section and go over the advantages and disadvantages to figure out what's the best for you. Alright, for those who don't know me, my name is Venmo Khamesi. I am a powerlifting coach, referee, meet director, and athlete, and so I make videos here on this channel to help those people. All right, the first section we're going to go over is the price for online versus in-person. While I have made a video before, and I'll put the little card for it above, about how you shouldn't use price to determine your coach, I do know a lot of people do look at the price, and since there is a big difference in the price between online versus in-person, it is a big factor when you're choosing your coach, so I figured I will start off with that one. As a general rule of thumb, the in-person coaching is going to cost you more than the online coaching. The reason for that is that in the in-person coaching, you are taking their time, especially if you're not doing any kind of group training and you're doing one-on-one, you're taking all their time for that hour, hour and a half, however long the session is, and they can only work with you, so they have to charge more for their time since they only have that 1 hour with one client, so they need to make enough money in a day or in a week to be profitable. With the online coaching, they can charge less because they can answer your questions or work on your programming and stuff whenever they're free, and they can work on a lot more athletes in a single day or in a single week than a personal trainer could do with one-on-one sessions in a day or in a week. So just as an example, there's a wide range of prices, but you may be able to find an online powerlifting coach who is fairly new that charges $100 per month versus you may find a personal trainer locally, especially in a bigger city, that will charge you $100 per hour. So you have to see what's available for what you're looking for, but in general, the in-person coaching is going to be a lot more expensive than the online coaching, and it's going to be due to a number of reasons why it's more expensive, which we're going to go into now. All right, the next topic we're going to go into is communication. So when it comes to communication, I'd say the in-person beats out the online just because you are there right in front of the coach and you can communicate with them instantly and then get your answers or whatever feedback you want instantly. Versus when you are doing online coaching, you may send a message to your coach and not hear back for an hour or 2 hours or maybe even until the next day. And that's if the online coach has the services of where they'll respond to like text message or a DM or something like that within a day whenever you have little questions here and there about the training or adjustments that you need to do. If you are only using an online option where they respond to you only every week or every month, then that communication is even less, and then any questions that you have or any adjustments you need to make are also going to be more delayed than that in-person coaching where you can get the instant feedback and adjustments. All right, and the next section would be then the adjustments. When it comes to any adjustments for your training, for example, you have to skip a session or you have to like maybe shift the days or you have to maybe drop off some exercises because you're running out of time or anything like that. Those kind of adjustments to the program, the in-person is going to beat the online. Again, the reason being that in most cases, in the in-person, the coach is right there. They can tell you, okay, come back for this day instead to do the session you're missing out, or okay, let's superset these exercises to get them done fast enough so that we can get you out of the gym. Or they'll might say like, don't worry about coming to the gym this week. If you are going on a vacation, something like that, we'll then do some extra volume next week when you come back. Versus with the in-person, again, you might have to wait for them to be free to respond to your message whenever they look at their phone or their email, or again, depending on what kind of service you get, you may have to wait a day or wait till the end of the week to send your weekly update to the coach, and then they'll say, okay, based on how things already happened this previous week, we will make the adjustments for the future weeks. So you're getting the adjustments based on after the fact, things already happened, and then here are the adjustments going forward. Versus with the in-person coach, you can literally make the adjustments on the spot in the training session, or if you haven't made it to the gym yet for that training session, then they can adjust your next training session so you get the adjustments immediately when you show up. Going off of that of adjustments to the programming, there's also going to be the adjustments to technique, which is a different section, I would say, that kind of blends in the communication and the adjustments. And that would be that the in-person coaching is better than the online coaching when it comes to big technical changes, because the coach can be right there watching you live do the lifts, watching you from different angles, front, side, back, seeing you warm up, seeing you do your working sets, all that kinds of stuff. And then they can give you the feedback and adjustments by actually showing you things in person. They can display how you're supposed to do a squat or a bench press, or how to make whatever technical adjustment or positioning that they want you to make. They can also take you to the side and maybe work on some other exercise that will help you with like your positioning of your torso angle or your bracing or anything like that, and then bring you back to the lift that you're working on, and then see if you can make those adjustments on that lift that you were originally doing. With the online coaching, it becomes a little more difficult because we can only use whatever feedback is given to us as a coach. So whatever videos you sent, those are the videos we see from that angle, whatever quality it is for that set. We don't get to see the other angles. We don't get to see those other sets that you didn't record. Also, it's whatever information the athlete provides in the email about how they're feeling, or if any positioning feels off, or if something hurts or something doesn't hurt. And if that information is not given in the email, then we don't have that data to then make adjustments off of. And then also just giving technical adjustments or technical feedback to a lifter. As a coach, it can be more difficult to explain things in written form. Or if the coach wants to go above and beyond, then maybe they can make a video where we have the lifter's video in front of us on our computer, and then with the mouse or with whatever arrows and diagrams and everything pointing to certain areas and showing different things that can be done. Or the coach can go in the gym and they can do the actual lift and then show, okay, this is where you should put your feet, this is where you should grip the bar, and everything like that. So it is a little bit more difficult for the online coach, and it just depends on how creative they are and how much effort they want to put into maybe not just doing a written email going over technique, but spending more time doing videos, technical breakdowns, and displaying it, or even doing something like FaceTime or whatever, doing a phone call or a WhatsApp video or Facebook Messenger video, and being able to watch the lifter in real time and talk to them in real time using the technology we have now to maybe get a little bit closer to that in-person coaching style. All right, next section we're gonna go into is options or availability of coaches that you can pick from. And I'd say that the online coaching beats out the in-person coaching in this aspect. That being that even though the sport is growing, there are still not that many powerlifting gyms out there and not that many powerlifting coaches out there throughout the entire country. Even in somewhere like the US, where powerlifting is much bigger than the other countries, it's difficult to find people depending if you're in a smaller state or a smaller city. Even if you are in a bigger city, they may be further away, and with traffic, it might take 30-45 minutes to get there. And then if you are in a smaller country, there may be no one within like 3, 4, 5 hours of you that you can go and see someone on a daily basis. And even if there is someone who's like 45 minutes away from you or 1.5 hours away from you that is very knowledgeable and stuff, it can be difficult to go there every day when you have work and a life outside of that. So you don't want to be spending an hour driving there and then spending 1 to 2 hours there training and then spending an hour driving back every single training session. So then you might have to do some kind of modified method where you are only going to that coach on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, and then doing your other sessions by yourself at a gym. So then that kind of turns into a little bit of a hybrid of in-person versus online. So then you may just want to go completely online, because then when online you have access to basically anyone in the world, thanks to internet and all the technology we have now with communication and videoing and everything like that. So now you can find any coach within your state or within your country or even in another country. You have lots of options to choose from as far as what kind of services they offer, what kind of prices they offer, whether they'll come to your local meets or whether they'll come to like nationals if you are a higher level competitor. So there's lots of more options to pick from, and you can always test out different people. So you can always go to one coach for a year or two, and if it doesn't work out, it's easy to then switch over to just some other coach. Whereas maybe like if you had an in-person coach at a gym and then you drop that in-person coach, it could maybe be a little bit weird going back to the gym and seeing that coach there, and they might be like judging you with your new coach, whatever new programming they're doing, or they'll constantly like bother you like, hey, come on back to my coaching or something like that. So the online beats out the in-person. Next, we'll go a little bit into what level powerlifter you are. So I'd say if you are a beginner powerlifter, you're going to benefit more from the in-person coaching. And if you are an advanced powerlifter, you're going to benefit more from the online coaching. If you're somewhere there in the middle, it just depends on your scenario and these other factors of what you have access to and what you need. But for a beginner powerlifter, a lot of times they have a lot of technical issues, and like I said previously, the benefit of the in-person is that you can work on a lot of the technical issues in person live, and the person can adjust you and show you things, and you can get immediate feedback to improve that technique. In addition, we do have some beginner powerlifters who are also just brand new to lifting weights or fitness, so they may need to figure out like, how do they warm up? Do they do cardio? Do they do static stretching? Do they foam roll? And then once they get underneath the bar for whatever exercise they're doing, how do they figure out how to warm up for the exercise? What kind of weight jumps to make? What kind of rep jumps to make? Even just like figuring out how to use clips or how to use safeties or ask someone for a spot or anything like that. If you're brand new to the gym, these are all things that you don't know, and it becomes more difficult for an online coach to just explain all this stuff to the person, versus the in-person coach can literally assist that lifter going through the whole process, saying, okay, we want to do 4 warm-ups and we want to do less reps and we want to slowly increase the weight, and then the lifter starts learning that process and they become more self-sufficient. For the advanced lifter, they already know all this stuff. They know how to warm up. They know what works best for them. They know what doesn't work for them. So all they need is that programming and maybe some small technical adjustments over time, and the yearly or multi-year strategy of figuring out what competitions they should do and how they can place higher and higher at these national, international meets. So then they want to have a bigger pool of coaches that they can pick from, so they can pick the best coach out there that fits their needs and their goals, so they can get as far as possible. And the last point that I want to discuss goes off of what I just went over in the last point a little bit, is about self-sufficiency. So if you are kind of in that intermediate range, then it just depends on how self-sufficient you are. If you want someone there in the gym with you to help you load weights and spot you, answer your questions, talk about life, just keep you consistent and on track and everything like that, then you may want an in-person coach so that you can make sure you can check all those boxes. But if you like doing things on your own and you know you can load your own weights, you can figure out your own warm-ups, you can make small adjustments here and there to the programming when you need to, and you just like training on your own, and you just want some kind of program that you know will set you down the right path, and then from there you can do everything yourself, then maybe you want that online coach so you can get the training, you can go and do a lot of things on your own, and then if you need any guidance, you can go back to your online coach once a week or whatever the service is, and get those questions answered and guide you down to the path that you want to go to reach those goals. All right, hopefully that helped you out. If you have any questions about online versus in-person coaching, you can put those in the comments below. Also, I do have a free consultation that I've mentioned before in previous videos that you can set up with me. So if you want to figure out whether I'm a good fit for you, we can get on a call and discuss it. And if I'm not a good fit for you, then we can find another online coach for you that fits your needs and your goals or whatever it is that you are looking for. And if you are looking for an in-person coach, you can still do the free consultation, or just comment below or DM me on Instagram and let me know what city or state you live in, and I can help you find powerlifting gyms or powerlifting coaches in your area that you may be able to meet up with to get that in-person coaching. And as always, I have the link to my Instagram page in the description below, so you can always go click on that and you can go and DM me on there, and I will communicate with you and we can find a powerlifting gym or powerlifting coach for you. In the description, you'll also find our Squats and Science coaching podcast. So if you like topics like this and you want to hear Coach Joe and I talk about these topics in a more expanded format, usually our podcast episodes are between 30 minutes and 1 hour, then you can go click on that link. That'll send you to our Spotify channel, and you can go look at the episodes we already have on there, and you can always let us know of any topics you want us to talk about in the future, and we will look into making that a podcast episode, and I'll try and make a shorter version of that right here on my YouTube channel. All right, so make sure you do that YouTube stuff. Like the video, share it with a friend that might be looking into online or in-person coaching that you think this will help out. You can subscribe to the channel to see my future videos. I hope you're having a good day, and I will see you next time.